All right, let's move in now to another top story that we've been tracking for you for a better part of a couple of weeks, I think, now in the country, and that is the foodborne related cases. Government is still considering whether to, in fact, declare the incidence of foodborne illnesses across the country a national disaster. Well, that's according to Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velingosini Hlabisa, who was part of a delegation of ministers who addressed the media earlier today, while at the same time registration of Spaza Shops continues in the country following President Cyril Ramaphosa's recent directive that all Spaza Shops and food handling stores must be registered within 21 days or face closure. Well, to expand more on this process in Gauteng at least, we're now joined by Gauteng MEC for Finance and Economic Development, Lebogang Maile. MEC, thank you so much for your time and good afternoon to you. So you've just visited the family of the 5-year-old little boy who died after eating suspected contaminated food yesterday. I believe he passed on. How are they doing and what did they tell you? One can only imagine how shocked they must be, especially at a time when one would have imagined that the Spaza Shops should have been temporarily closed at the very least, especially in Soweto.
Good afternoon to you and the viewers at home. We firstly want to convey our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family. We were told that there was a group of 5 young boys yesterday who went to buy Simba chips from a local tuck shop. After consuming the contents of the Simba chips, or rather after consuming the Simba chips, they fell ill, started vomiting, and they were then rushed to hospital, and unfortunately the deceased was certified dead, I think, before they reached hospital, and the other one is still in hospital, critical and in ICU, and the other 3 boys are fine. So it is suspected that they got ill because of the chips that they consumed. It's not yet confirmed. The health inspectors have been to the shop and they have confiscated those chips, but they've also checked that there are other expired goods there, and they will be confiscating all those. And we have asked the local councillor to also open a case on behalf of the community on this expired food.
MEC, what do you say to those that are wondering, why are some of these Spaza Shops still open? We know, of course, that there's a registration process that's ongoing, but in light of what we saw yesterday in KwaZulu-Natal, where a warehouse has goods that are expired en route to various provinces, I would imagine, including Gauteng, that there's still Spaza Shops during these investigations that are still open. Surely, at this point in time, they should have been closed. I know that one particularly, where these 5 boys or children consumed these snacks, community members had been asking and calling for it to be closed down.
In fact, we agree with the communities, and we want the communities to also start playing an active role. And once they identify Spaza Shops that are not hygienic and they're not suitable, they must bring that to the attention of the authorities. We have closed this one today, and I'm sure you'll agree that it's not all Spaza Shops that are selling things that have expired. And it's not all Spaza Shops that are unhygienic. So a call for a closure of all Spaza Shops, I think it's a bit drastic, I think, because there are a lot of people involved, and a lot of them who also are running legal shops. And I agree with you, those that are illegal must be closed. And there has been consistent there's been consistent raids by ourselves and different government agencies throughout, and we have been closing. Unfortunately, there are instances where we close shops and they open again, and that's why I'm saying there has to be a greater collaboration between ourselves and the communities.
Yeah, I agree with you. Not all Spaza shops sell illegal food items, MEC, and also because we know that Spaza shops are an integral part of our societies for many, many years, but we are in a crisis, so that's why I raised that point. But just in terms of the registration process of Spaza shops, just bring us up to speed in terms of where the process in Gauteng is and what happens after the 21 days deadline has passed.
We have announced on Tuesday that people can go to different centers, and we publicized those centers in all the 11 municipalities. We've got teams now that have started registering, and the doors are open. So we ask the communities to also check the websites of the municipalities, to also check the social media accounts of their municipalities. That's where they will get the information about where to apply. But secondly, we will be continuing to go to the communities, not just to inspect, but to also help those who don't comply with compliance and to even register them. That's why on Monday, we will be visiting some factory or manufacturing factory to check hygiene and also check if they are qualified, and also work with the local businesses around that area. After 21 days, I think the president will make a determination and then announce on what steps will be taken.
I would imagine before that 21 days is up, another clarification or directive that would probably need to be taken is on the national disaster status. We know that foodborne illnesses have been classified a national disaster. We've heard today that the ministerial briefing that government is still considering whether to declare the incidence of foodborne illnesses across the country a national disaster. How would that process look like, and what would it entail from your vantage point, MEC, if it is in fact declared a national disaster?
Yeah, I thought you would say we were the first to call for that declaration here in Gauteng. We had already said that at the time we were talking about the state of emergency, but I think declaring it a national disaster is an appropriate thing to do. And we are glad that the national government is already thinking about that, and we will welcome that decision, and we will also contribute in the process in terms of what should happen. And of course, it will mean more resources, and it will mean a speedy response from all different levels of government and all agencies. But it will also mean that we must put a lot of pressure on government and enforcement agencies to ensure that we move with speed in closing the shops that don't comply, and we arrest those who break the law.
Appreciate your time, MEC, Gauteng MEC for Finance and Economic Development, Lebogang Maile, there for us.